My beloved child, before you take another breath, I want you to understand something. You are not here by accident now. You did not arrive at this message because of chance or a random moment. There were countless things that could have pulled your attention elsewhere. Yet you are here listening now, and I want you to know I have been closer than you realized. There has never been a forgotten chapter in your life. Not one morning, not one night, not one season of confusion has escaped my sight. You may look back and see scattered pieces, delays, broken plans, and roads that did not lead where you hoped. But I see the whole story. I see the thread of grace that held you when your own strength was almost gone. My beloved child, the fact that your heart is still beating is not a small thing. The breath in your lungs is not ordinary. It is mercy moving quietly through you. You have survived days you never fully explained to anyone. You have carried pain with a calm face. You have smiled while your soul felt tired. You have kept walking when part of you wanted to stop trying, and still, you are here. Do you think that was only your willpower? Do you think you made it through every hidden battle by your wisdom alone? My child, I gave you strength in moments when you thought you were only pushing through. I placed peace in the middle of storms you did not know how to name. I held back certain things before they reached you. I turned you away from paths that looked harmless but would have wounded you in ways you could not yet understand. There were conversations I interrupted. There were connections I allowed to fade. There were opportunities that disappeared not because I was punishing you, but because I was protecting the life I planted inside you. You may have felt rejected. You may have asked why the door closed, why the answer did not come, why the person left, why the plan collapsed. But my beloved child, some closed doors were not denial, they were rescue. You saw disappointment. I saw danger. You saw delay. I saw preparation. You saw loss. I saw a heavier burden being removed before it attached itself to your future. This is why I am asking you to look again, not with the eyes of pain, but with the eyes of trust. The story you thought was only survival has been filled with my quiet fingerprints. My beloved child, I know there were times you felt invisible. You wondered if I had noticed the nights when your thoughts would not rest. You wondered if I heard the prayers you whispered without confidence. You wondered if the heaviness in your chest meant you were failing. But listen to me. I was not absent in those moments. I was near enough to hear what you never said out loud. When you were tired of being strong, I saw you. When you felt overlooked by people who should have cared, I saw you. When you questioned your worth because life did not move the way you expected, I saw you. And I did not look at you with disappointment. I looked at you with the patience of a father who knows the full length of the road. There is a reason you are still standing. There is a reason your story did not end in the place where fear told you it would. There is a reason you kept waking up even after nights when your soul felt empty. It is not because you were forgotten. It is because I was still writing. I was not finished shaping what I placed within you. My beloved child, Scripture reminds you that before a single day unfolded, I already saw it. Before people gave you names, before life gave you wounds, before failure tried to define you, I knew you. I knew the hidden parts of you. I knew the weakness you would try to cover. I knew the questions you would carry. And still I chose to love you. So do not call your life meaningless. Do not call your waiting wasted. Do not call your survival small. Every breath has carried an invitation. Every season has held a lesson. Every valley has revealed something that comfort alone could never teach you. I did not allow you to remain alive simply so you could repeat patterns and call it living. I kept you because there is more. There is more healing for you, more clarity for you, more peace than the peace you have tried to build through control, more purpose than the routine that has kept your days moving but left your spirit thirsty. I am not calling you to a life of noise and pressure. I am calling you back to awareness. Back to the truth that you belong to me, and because you belong to me, your life carries meaning, even when you cannot yet see the picture. My beloved child, you have mistaken some ordinary days for empty days. You thought that because nothing dramatic happened, nothing sacred was happening. But I have often worked most deeply in the quiet. I have strengthened you while no one applauded. I have corrected your direction through small discomforts. I have softened your heart through moments that seemed insignificant. I have used silence to teach you to listen beyond emotion. Even this moment is sacred. This message is not merely sound passing through your ears. It is a gentle hand on your shoulder. It is a call to remember that your life has been guarded, watched, and carried. I am not asking you to understand everything that happened behind you. I am asking you to stop believing that it had no meaning. You are not an accident, my beloved child. You are not a leftover soul trying to find a place in a crowded world. You are known, you are seen, you are kept, and the breath you just took is another sign that I am still inviting you forward. Do not rush past that. Let it settle in your heart. I have preserved you for more than survival. I have carried you for more than another day of pretending to be fine. I have kept you so you can awaken, return trust, and begin again with me. Stay close now, my beloved child. Listen with more than your ears. The life you thought was random has been held by my hand all along. And because I have held your life all along, my beloved child, I want you to look again at the days you once dismissed as ordinary. You called them common. You called them uneventful. You woke, worked, carried responsibilities, answered people, solved small problems, and went to sleep thinking nothing sacred had touched you. But I was there. I was there in the morning light that entered your room before you prayed. I was there in the quiet pause before the day became loud. I was there in the meal you ate without noticing the mercy inside it. I was there in the strength that helped you rise when your heart felt heavy. My work was not absent because it was quiet. My beloved child, you have often looked for me in dramatic places. You expected me to arrive like thunder with a sign so clear that no doubt could remain. You wanted the kind of answer that would shake the room, silence every fear, and make belief feel easy. But many times I came like a gentle breath across tired ground. I came through a thought that would not leave you. I came through a warning in your spirit. I came through a delay that protected you. Do not despise the smallness of my movements. I often hide great beginnings inside simple moments. A seed does not look like a forest, yet within it life waits for the right season. A single drop of rain does not look like restoration, yet many quiet drops can soften dry ground. In the same way, I have been watering places in you that no one else could see. There were days when you thought nothing was changing, but I was teaching you endurance. There were weeks when your prayers seemed unanswered, but I was removing what could weaken your future. There were seasons when the door did not open, but I was strengthening your hands to hold what was coming. You looked for movement outside you. I was forming stability within you. Remember how I fed my people in the wilderness. I did not give them a mountain of bread to store for every future fear. I gave them manna day by day. Enough for the moment, enough to teach dependence, enough to show them that my faithfulness is not proven only by abundance, but also by daily provision. Some of you have been asking me for the whole map, but I have been giving you enough light for the next step. You thought that was too little. I called it training. You thought the ordinary provision meant nothing special was happening. I called it relationship. You wanted certainty for the road, but I wanted you to learn my hand in the step right before you. My beloved child, the life of faith is not only built in great victories, it is built in quiet mornings when you choose to trust me again today. I know the world has trained you to measure everything by speed, noise, results, and visible proof. If something does not happen quickly, you assume it is not working. If no one notices, you assume it has no value. If nothing looks impressive, you assume nothing divine is taking place. But my kingdom does not move by the world's rhythm. I build roots before I reveal fruit. I deepen the foundation before I raise the structure. I prepare the heart before I open the door. This is why some slow seasons were not wasted. They were not empty rooms. They were workshops of grace. I was shaping patience in you. I was teaching you how to wait without becoming bitter. I was showing you how to keep your heart soft when life did not answer on your schedule. I was training your spirit to recognize me without constant excitement. My beloved child, there were ordinary conversations with my guidance. A sentence someone spoke stayed with you longer than expected. A simple moment made you pause. A closed road, a postponed plan, a strange sense of unease, peace. You could not explain, these were not always random. Sometimes they were, my quiet ways of turning your attention back to me. You have asked for signs, but sometimes you have ignored the ones wrapped in daily life. You asked me to speak, but then expected my voice to sound only one way. I have spoken through scripture when a verse seemed to meet you exactly where you were. I have spoken through silence when you finally stopped running long enough to feel the truth. I have spoken through discomfort when something inside you knew a path was not right. Do not think my silence means I am distant. There is a silence that comes from absence, and there is a silence that comes from deep work. I have allowed quiet seasons not to abandon you, but to free you from your addiction to noise. If you can only trust me when everything feels powerful, then your faith will rise and fall with emotion. But if you learn to trust me in ordinary days, you will be steady in every season. My beloved child, I have been closer than your feelings told you. Feelings can change with sleep, with stress, with disappointment, with the words of other people. But my presence is not as fragile as your emotions. I do not come near only when you feel warm and inspired. I remain near when prayer feels dry. I remain near when worship feels difficult. I remain near when your mind is tired and your heart can only whisper, "Help me." Think of Elijah, who waited for me in the wind, the shaking, and the fire. Yet my voice came in a low and gentle way. I was teaching him, as I am teaching you, that power does not always need volume. Sometimes the holiest direction comes quietly enough that only a listening heart can receive it. So look again at your ordinary days. Look at the breath you take, the strength that returns little by little, the door that closes before you understand, the peace that rises without explanation, the small desire to pray after dryness. These are not meaningless details. They are reminders that I am still moving. My beloved child, I do not need a dramatic stage to reach you. I can meet you at the kitchen table, in the car, in the quiet of your room, in the hour when everyone else sleeps. I can speak while you wash your hands, while walking outside, while you sit in silence, wondering if your life is becoming anything at all. Do not wait for the sky to split before you believe I am near. I have been building quietly. I have been healing slowly. I have been arranging things beneath the surface. I have been placing small lights along your path, not to overwhelm you, but to guide you. And now that you know I have been present in the ordinary, I must show you something deeper. The danger is not that I have stopped speaking. The danger is that you have grown used to postponing your response. And now that you know I have been present in the ordinary, my beloved child, I need you to see what has quietly happened inside you. The danger was never that I stopped calling. The danger is that you learned how to hear me and still put me aside. You did not always call it rebellion. You called it waiting for the right time. You called it being practical. You called it needing more clarity, more energy, more confidence, more proof. You told yourself that one day you would pray deeper, listen longer, forgive, fully release what I asked you to release, and return to me with your whole heart. But my beloved child, one day can become a hiding place if you keep using it to avoid today. I am not speaking this to shame you. I know how fear works. Fear does not always roar. Sometimes it sits quietly beside you and sounds like wisdom. It says, "Not yet." It says, "Wait until life is less complicated." It says, "You are too tired to obey now." It says, "You can respond later and nothing will change." But delay changes the heart in ways the eyes cannot see. Every time you hear my voice and ignore it, something inside becomes a little less sensitive. Every time you sense my hand guiding you and still choose comfort, your spirit learns to treat my instruction as optional. This is how spiritual sleep begins, not with a sudden fall, but with small permissions. One more delay, one more excuse, one more moment where you know what is right, but choose what is easy. My beloved child, I have watched you stand at the edge of decisions I was using to lead you forward. You felt the stirring. You knew it was me. You sensed that certain habits needed to end. Certain conversations needed to change. Certain attachments had become heavier than they were holy. Yet you stepped back because obedience felt costly. You wanted transformation, but not the discomfort of surrender. Listen to me with honesty now. You cannot keep asking for a new season while protecting the old patterns that keep you bound. You cannot keep praying for peace while holding tightly to what disturbs your soul. You cannot keep asking for direction while refusing the first step I already showed you. I do not reveal the whole staircase to someone who will not place a foot on the first step. You may wonder why the heaviness remains, why the same thoughts return, why the same dryness keeps rising. My child, sometimes the answer is not far away. Sometimes the answer is the instruction you postponed. Sometimes the breakthrough you are waiting for is standing on the other side of the obedience you keep delaying. Remember the man at the pool of Bethesda. For many years he lay near the water, close to movement, close to hope, yet still stuck in the same condition. When my son asked him if he wanted to be made well, the question was not cruel. It was awakening. Healing required more than nearness to possibility. It required response. Rise, take up your bed, walk. My beloved child, there are moments when grace asks you to move. I have brought you near to truth many times. I have placed words in front of you that stirred your heart. I have allowed discomfort to reveal what needed healing. I have interrupted plans that were pulling you away from me. I have sent quiet conviction not to crush you, but to wake you. Still, you sometimes looked at the stirring and said later, but later is not always harmless. Later can become a room where obedience grows cold. Later can become a blanket covering spiritual numbness. Later can become a gentle word for fear. I am patient, yes, but my patience was never given so you could remain asleep. My patience is space for return. It is mercy giving you room to answer. My beloved child, do not confuse my patience with permission to delay forever. I love you too much to let your heart drift quietly into numbness while you call it peace. Peace is not the absence of movement. Peace is alignment with me. Peace is when your heart no longer argues with the truth it already knows. Peace is when you stop running from the step that keeps calling your name. There are things you have delayed because they touch the places you wanted to control. You delayed forgiveness because you feared it would make the wound seem small. You delayed surrender because you feared losing what felt familiar. You delayed prayer because silence made you face what noise helped you avoid. You delayed obedience because you wanted certainty before trust. But my beloved child, trust does not wait until every shadow leaves. Trust reaches for my hand while the path is still dim. I am not asking you to fix everything in one moment. I am asking you to stop hiding behind tomorrow. Give me one honest yes today. Give me one surrendered place. Give me one habit you no longer protect. Give me one fear you stop treating as your master. Small obedience is not small in my hands. A seed is small, but when placed in the soil, it begins a future. I know you worry that if you respond, you may not be able to follow perfectly, but I am not waiting for perfect hands. I am looking for a willing heart. When Peter stepped out of the boat, the water was not calm. His faith trembled, yet the step mattered. Even when he began to sink, my son reached for him. That is how I lead you. I do not abandon trembling obedience. I meet it with my hand. So do not wait until you feel fearless. Do not wait until every question becomes quiet. The courage you need will rise as you move, not before. I am with you in the choosing now. Do not despise the first step because it feels simple. Send the message of peace. Close the door that keeps pulling you backward. Open the scripture again. Sit in silence without reaching for distraction. Tell me the truth you have avoided. Ask for help. Release the outcome. Choose what is clean when compromise feels easier. These are not little things. These are doors. My beloved child, I am calling you out of spiritual postponement because I have more for you than a life lived half awake. I did not create you to keep circling the same mountain-naming delay as caution and fear as maturity. I created you to walk with me in living faith. Faith that hears, faith that responds, faith that takes the next step before the full road appears. So wake up gently, but wake up truly. Do not condemn yourself. Do not drown in regret. Rise from the place of delay and return to me now. The moment before you is not empty. It is a doorway. And as you stand before it, my beloved child, understand this. What you choose in this sacred moment will shape the path that opens next. And now, my beloved child, as you stand before this doorway, I want you to understand the weight of the moment you are in. This is not just another pause in your day. This is not merely a quiet space between tasks, messages, and responsibilities. This is a sacred intersection, a place where my voice is meeting your willingness. You may think you are simply listening. You may think these words will pass like many other words have passed before. But I am touching something deeper than your attention. I am reaching for your response. There are moments in life that look small from the outside, yet they become turning points in the hidden places of the soul. My beloved child, not every divine meeting comes with bright light or trembling ground. Sometimes the most important moments arrive gently. A sentence settles in your heart. A quiet conviction rises. A memory returns. A truth you avoided becomes clear. Nothing around you may change immediately, but something within you knows that you cannot keep pretending you did not hear. This is one of those moments. I am not saying this to make you anxious. I am saying it because love tells the truth. If a traveler stands at a fork in the road, and one path leads toward danger, the one who sees farther must speak. I see what you cannot see. I know where small choices lead. I know which doors will strengthen you, and which doors will drain the life from you little by little. My beloved child, you have asked me for guidance, but guidance often comes as a moment that requires a decision. You have asked me for clarity, but clarity often appears as a quiet knowing that you must stop delaying. You have asked me to change your life, but many times the change begins when you finally agree with what I have already placed before your heart. Do not underestimate agreement. When your heart agrees with me, even silently, heaven begins to work in a new way within you. Agreement is not loud. It may not impress anyone. It may not look powerful to the world. But when you say yes to me in the secret place, you shift your position. You step out of resistance. You step out of confusion. You step out of the old habit of hearing without moving. Think of Mary when the angel spoke to her. She did not have every detail. She did not understand every consequence. She could not see the full road ahead. Yet she answered with surrender. Let it be to me according to your word. My beloved child, that yes did not remove every challenge, but it placed her inside my purpose. Her surrender became a doorway. In the same way, I am not asking you to understand the full weight of what comes next. I am asking you to recognize that this moment is asking something from you. Not panic, not performance, not a dramatic promise you will forget tomorrow. I am asking for a real response, a small yes that is honest, a quiet surrender that is true, a step that matches the truth you already know. You may be tempted to rush past this, to say, I will think about it later, to comfort yourself with the idea that there will always be another opportunity, another sign, another message, another season. My beloved child, I am merciful, but I do not want you to treat mercy as an excuse to remain unchanged. Mercy is not permission to sleep. Mercy is the hand that wakes you while there is still time to rise. There are doors that open through listening. There are paths that appear only after obedience. There are burdens that lift only when you stop protecting what I have asked you to release. There are prayers that begin to change shape when your heart stops arguing with the instruction I already gave you. This is why the present moment matters, not because I am rushing you, not because I am threatening you, not because my love is fragile, my love is steadfast. But your heart can become used to postponement. Your spirit can become used to hearing truth without letting it reach your life. And when that happens, even sacred words can begin to sound ordinary. I do not want that for you. My beloved child, I want you awake enough to recognize the visitation of grace. When I come near and stir your heart, do not treat it like an interruption. It is not an interruption. It is an invitation. It is me stepping into the rhythm of your life and saying, come closer. Come out of the fog. Come away from the place where you have been living by habit. Come into the path where your steps begin to carry purpose again. I see more than your tired eyes can measure in this season. This moment is sacred because it is not only about what you hear, it is about what you become when you respond. If you respond with honesty, I can begin healing what pretending has covered. If you respond with surrender, I can loosen what control has tightened. If you respond with trust, I can lead you beyond the limits of what you can calculate. If you respond with obedience, I can open the next place of growth. My beloved child, do not wait for the perfect feeling. Feelings are not the foundation of obedience. Some of the most important steps are taken while the heart trembles. Some of the most holy yeses are whispered through tears. Some of the strongest faith begins as a small decision not to turn away again. Remember what Scripture says today: if you hear His voice, do not harden your heart. Today is not just a word on a page. Today is the space where grace meets decision. Today is where a sleepy heart can wake. Today is where a tired soul can return. Today is where a path that seemed closed can begin to open under my hand. So pause here with me. Do not hurry. Let the noise settle. Let the excuses become quiet. Let the fear speak if it must, but do not let it lead. Place this moment before me as something holy. Say yes in the place where you have delayed. Say yes in the place where you have hidden. Say yes in the place where your strength has run out. I am not asking for a perfect life in this moment. I am asking for an open heart. I am not asking you to carry the whole future. I am asking you to give me your next step. And when you do, my beloved child, you will begin to understand that sacred intersections are not only places of decision, they are places of formation. For after the yes comes the journey. After the doorway comes the road. After the calling comes the testing of faith. And I want you to know the testing is not meant to break you. It is meant to make what is true within you become strong enough to stand. My beloved child, the testing is not meant to break you. It is meant to make what is true within you strong enough to stand. I know you do not always feel that while the pressure is on your shoulders. I know waiting can feel like silence. I know uncertainty can feel like being left alone. But I am not absent in pressure. I am present in it, shaping what comfort could never form. You have often thought faith was proven when everything felt peaceful. You believed faith meant calm emotions, clear answers, open doors, and a heart that never trembles. But real faith is deeper than a peaceful feeling. Real faith is what remains when the feeling fades, when the answer is hidden, when the road ahead is dim, and you still choose to hold my hand. My beloved child, faith that has never been stretched can sound beautiful, but it does not yet know its own strength. A song can be practiced in an empty room, but it is tested when the storm outside tries to drown it out. In the same way, your trust in me becomes real when life gives you reasons to doubt, yet something in you refuses to let go. I do not test you because I enjoy seeing you struggle. That is not my heart. I am your father, not a distant observer. I do not sit far away measuring how much pain you can carry. I come near in the testing. I walk with you through the place where your faith is being purified and strengthened. There are parts of faith that only grow in hidden seasons. Patience cannot be formed if every answer arrives immediately. Courage cannot be formed if every step feels safe. Surrender cannot be formed if you always remain in control. Discernment cannot be formed if every voice around you is quiet. Some gifts inside you awaken only when the easy path is no longer available. My beloved child, I know you have asked why it is taking so long. You have wondered why certain prayers seem to return unanswered. You have asked why the same mountain still stands before you. I have heard every question. I do not reject your questions. Bring them to me. I am not offended by the trembling of a tired heart. But listen closely. Delay is not always denial. Waiting is not always wasted. Silence is not always distance. Sometimes I allow time to slow down around a promise because I am doing a deeper work within the person who will carry that promise. You are looking for the door to open. I am looking at the heart that will walk through it. Think of Joseph. He received dreams when he was young, but the road to fulfillment passed through betrayal, obscurity, false accusation, and waiting. None of those seasons looked like purpose outside, yet I was forming wisdom in him before placing influence in his hands. I was teaching him steadiness before giving him responsibility. I was preparing him in places people would have called forgotten. My beloved child, you may feel hidden now, but hidden does not mean useless. A root grows in the dark before a tree stands in the light. Bread rises in quiet before it feeds a table. Gold is refined in fire before it shines with purity. I know the hidden work is uncomfortable, but it is not meaningless. You want me to remove every weight quickly. I understand that. But sometimes I strengthen your shoulders before I lift the next assignment. Sometimes I steady your heart before I increase your reach. Sometimes I allow you to face resistance not because I want you wounded, but because I am teaching you how to stand without depending on constant approval. My beloved child, there are blessings that require maturity. There are open doors that require humility. There are answers that require a heart no longer ruled by fear. If I give too soon, what your inner life is not ready to carry, the very thing you prayed for could become pressure that overwhelms you. I love you too much to place weight on a foundation still being healed. This is why the testing matters. It reveals what has been trusted more than me. It exposes the places where fear still gives orders. It shows where your peace depends too much on outcomes, people, timing, and visible proof. I do not reveal these things to condemn you. I reveal them so they can be healed. When the pressure comes, it does not create what is inside you. It reveals it. If bitterness rises, bring it to me. If fear rises, bring it to me. If anger rises, bring it to me. If weariness rises, bring it to me. Do not hide the condition of your heart from the one who already sees it. and still loves you. My beloved child, Scripture says that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. This is not punishment, it is formation. Steadfastness means you are no longer moved by changing weather. You are no longer thrown off course by every delay. You are no longer controlled by every feeling that visits your heart. I am teaching you to remain. To remain when emotions rise and fall. To remain when people misunderstand. To remain when progress looks slow. To remain when you cannot trace my hand, but must trust my heart. This remaining is not weakness, it is holy strength. Do not compare your testing to someone else's season. You do not know what I am preparing within them, and they do not know what I am preparing within you. Some roads look easier from a distance because you cannot see the private battles attached to them. Walk with me on your road. I know the pressure that will strengthen you without destroying you. My beloved child, I am not asking you to pretend the testing is easy. I am asking you to believe it is not empty. I am not asking you to deny your tears. I am asking you to let your tears become prayer. I am not asking you to understand every delay. I am asking you to trust that my timing is not careless. There will come a day when you look back and see that I was not simply making you wait. I was making you ready. I was not ignoring your prayer. I was enlarging your capacity. I was not withholding love. I was building a place in you strong enough to receive what love intended to give. So stand with me in this testing. Breathe with me. Let faith become more than words you speak when life is easy. Let it become the quiet strength that holds you when nothing around you explains itself. I am near, my beloved child. I am not late. I am not cruel. I am making your faith real. And as your faith becomes real, I must show you why I have been careful with the timing of your breakthrough. I have not been merely watching the door. I have been preparing the vessel that will carry what is behind it. My beloved child, I have not been merely watching the door. I have been preparing the vessel that will carry what is behind it. You have asked me to open the way to release the answer, to bring the breakthrough closer. I have heard you, but while your eyes have been fixed on the door, my hands have been working on your heart. You may think the greatest question is when the blessing will arrive. I am showing you a deeper question. Will your soul be ready to carry it with peace? Will your character be able to remain steady when the door opens? Will your heart stay close to me when the answer you prayed for begins to appear? My beloved child, I do not only care about giving you what you desire, I care about who you become when you receive it. A gift placed into unhealed hands can become something heavy. An open door given to an anxious heart can become a room of pressure. A larger assignment placed on a wounded spirit can feel like a burden instead of grace. This is why I have been careful with timing. Not because I am reluctant, not because I have forgotten, not because I enjoy watching you wait. I am a wise father. I do not hand a weight to a child before the arms are ready. I do not pour new wine into a vessel that cannot stretch. I do not build a tall house on ground that has not been made firm. You have called some seasons delay, but I have called them preparation. You have called some closed doors disappointment, but I have called them protection. You have called some waiting painful silence, but I have called it deep repair. My beloved child, while you were asking me to change the outside, I was touching the places inside you that would have made the outside too difficult to carry. I have been healing the cracks you learned to ignore. The fear of being left, the need to control every outcome, the habit of measuring your worth by how people respond to you, the tired belief that you must prove yourself before you are loved. These things cannot carry blessing well. They leak peace. They turn gifts into pressure. They make open doors feel unsafe. So I have been preparing you patiently. I have allowed small frustrations to reveal where impatience still rules. I have allowed silence to reveal where you still need approval. I have allowed waiting to reveal whether your trust rests in me or only in what I give. I have allowed uncertainty to show you where fear has been pretending to be wisdom. Do not be afraid of what is being revealed. Revelation is not rejection. When I show you a crack, it is because I intend to mend it. When I show you a weakness, it is because I intend to strengthen it. When I show you a place where fear still speaks, it is because I intend to teach your heart another voice. My beloved child, remember the potter and the clay. The clay does not always understand the pressure of the hands that shape it. It may feel pressed, turned lifted, and pressed again. Yet the potter is not destroying the clay. The potter is forming it into something able to hold purpose. I am not crushing you. I am shaping you. There are areas of your life that needed reshaping before the next season could be trusted to you. Your reactions needed softening. Your motives needed purifying. Your desires needed ordering. Your faith needed roots. Your heart needed room. I am not only preparing things for you, I am preparing you for the things. This is why some answers have not come in the form you expected. If I had given you everything when you first asked, you might have taken the gift and drifted from the giver. You might have confused provision with identity. You might have built your security around the blessing instead of around my presence. My beloved child, I love you too deeply to let my gifts take my place in your heart. I know you have wondered why others seem to move ahead while you remain in process, but do not compare your preparation to their visible progress. You see their open door. You do not see the private shaping that came before it. You see their harvest. You do not know the tears that watered the field. Walk with me in your own process. I know exactly what must be strengthened in you. A vessel is not prepared by rushing. It is cleaned carefully. It is strengthened patiently. It is made ready for what it will hold. I am removing old residue from former seasons. Words spoken over you that were never true. Shame that clung to your memory. Disappointments that taught you to expect less from life. Fear that made you shrink before the door even opened. I am not doing this to make you feel exposed. I am doing this so you can be free. I want you to receive without panic. I want you to walk through open doors without losing peace. I want you to be trusted with more without becoming proud. I want you to carry influence without forgetting humility. I want you to hold blessing with open hands, not clenched fists. My beloved child, Scripture says that I search the heart and know the depths within. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to comfort you. I know what needs healing before you can name it. I know what needs strengthening before you can explain it. I know where you are ready, and I know where love must still do quiet work. So when I slow the pace, do not assume I am withholding kindness. When I ask you to wait, do not assume I am denying you. When I bring attention to an old wound, do not think I am reopening pain to harm you. I am cleaning what has been hidden so it will no longer poison what is coming. There is a future I have prepared for you, but I will not sacrifice your soul to give it quickly. I would rather prepare you deeply than rush you into a place where your peace collapses under pressure. I would rather strengthen your foundation than decorate a structure that cannot stand. So let me prepare you. Let me shape what needs shaping. Let me heal what needs healing. Let me remove what no longer belongs in the vessel of your life. Trust my hands. They are not rough with anger. They are firm with love. Nothing is wasted when my hands are involved. Even hidden preparation carries mercy for tomorrow. And as I prepare you, my beloved child, you must learn to hear me more clearly. Because the vessel I am shaping will not be guided by noise, fear, pressure, or the opinions of people. It must be guided by my voice. And that is why I am now calling you to listen through the noise that has surrounded your life. And that is why I am now calling you to listen through the noise that has surrounded your life, my beloved child. I have been shaping you, preparing you, strengthening you, but preparation becomes fruitful only when you can recognize my voice above every other sound. You live in a world that rarely becomes quiet. The day begins with demands before your heart has even found rest. Messages wait for you. Responsibilities pull at you. People expect answers. Worries rise. Screens glow. And somewhere beneath all of that noise, your spirit keeps longing for me. My beloved child, I have not stopped speaking, but many voices have crowded the room of your heart. Some voices are loud and obvious. They tell you to hurry, compare, perform, prove yourself, protect yourself, and never slow down. Other voices are quieter. They sound like your own thoughts. They tell you that you are behind, that you are not enough, that nothing is really changing, that you should handle everything alone. You have carried these voices for so long that some of them began to feel normal. You did not notice how often anxiety interrupted your prayer. You did not notice how quickly distraction pulled you away from stillness. You did not notice how easily the opinions of others became louder than my gentle instruction. This is why I am calling you back to listening. Listening is not the same as hearing. You can hear words and remain unchanged. You can hear truth and still rush back into the same patterns. Listening means making room. Listening means letting my voice have weight. Listening means refusing to let fear, hurry, and pressure become the rulers of your inner life. My beloved child, I do not compete with noise the way the world competes. I do not shout to prove myself. I do not need to overpower every voice to be true. My voice often comes with peace, correction, clarity, and a quiet firmness that remains after emotion fades. The enemy pushes, I lead. Fear rushes, I steady. Confusion tangles, I bring light. You have asked me to speak louder, but sometimes I am asking you to come closer. A whisper cannot be heard from a distance. When your life is filled with constant movement, constant reaction, your heart becomes tired. A tired heart can mistake noise for urgency and silence for emptiness. But silence with me is not empty. It is where your spirit breathes again. Remember when my son withdrew to lonely places to pray. The crowds needed him. The demands were urgent. Yet he stepped away to be with me. My beloved child, if even holy work required quiet communion, why do you think your soul can remain clear without stillness? I am not asking you to abandon your responsibilities. I am asking you to stop letting responsibilities own the center of your heart. I am not asking you to ignore the world. I am asking you not to let the world become the shepherd of your thoughts. Your mind was not created to be a marketplace where every voice rents space. Your heart was created to be a dwelling place for my presence. There are moments when I guide you through a simple unease. You feel a check in your spirit before saying yes. You sense that a path is not clean, even if it looks useful. You feel peace around one decision and heaviness around another. Do not dismiss these quiet signals. Not every warning arrives as a storm. Sometimes protection begins as a pause. My beloved child, you have sometimes ignored the pause because you wanted the opportunity. You ignored the heaviness because the door looked attractive. You ignored the lack of peace because others approved. Then later you wondered why your soul felt drained. I was not trying to keep good things from you. I was teaching you to discern what carries life and what only carries appearance. There are also times when my voice corrects you. Correction is not rejection. When I show you that your words were too sharp, I am protecting your heart from pride. When I show you that you are holding resentment, I am protecting your peace from poison. When I show you that fear is driving a decision, I am inviting you back to trust. My beloved child, learn the difference between conviction and condemnation. Condemnation pushes you into hiding. Conviction invites you into healing. Condemnation says you are hopeless. Conviction says, come back. Condemnation makes you look only at your failure. Conviction leads you to my mercy and gives you strength to walk differently. This is why listening matters. If you cannot distinguish my voice from the voice of shame, you will run when I am calling you near. If you cannot distinguish my voice from the voice of fear, you will delay when I am asking you to move. If you cannot distinguish my voice from the voice of pride, you will defend yourself when I am trying to set you free. Do not be afraid of stillness. At first, stillness may feel uncomfortable because it reveals what noise has been covering. It may reveal sadness. You avoided exhaustion. You minimized anger. You spiritualized desires. You buried in questions you never brought to me honestly. Bring all of it. I am not fragile. I can hold your honesty. My beloved child, when you sit with me, you do not need polished words. You do not need to sound strong. You do not need to explain your heart perfectly. Say what is true. Sit where you are. Open the scripture slowly. Let one sentence feed you. Let one prayer rise. Let one moment of silence become a doorway. I will teach you to listen again. I will teach you to recognize the peace that comes from me and the pressure that does not. I will teach you to know when to move, when to wait, when to speak, and when to be silent. I will teach you to test the voices not by how loud they are, but by the fruit they produce in your soul. The voice of fear leaves you frantic. The voice of pride leaves you hard. The voice of shame leaves you hidden. The voice of comparison leaves you restless. But my voice may correct you and still leave you held. My voice may challenge you and still give you peace. My voice may ask for surrender and still fill you with hope. So begin here. Turn down one noise. Make one quiet space. Pause before one decision. Ask me before answering quickly. Let your heart become attentive again. I am not far from you, my beloved child. I have been speaking through peace, through scripture, through wisdom, through holy discomfort, through doors that closed, and through the quiet desire in you to return. But if noise remains your constant home, your spirit will grow dull, and that is the danger I must speak to next. A heart that no longer listens does not always collapse. Sometimes it becomes little by little quietly numb, blind, and deaf, while life continues on the outside as if nothing is wrong. A heart that no longer listens does not always collapse suddenly. My beloved child, sometimes it keeps moving, keeps working, keeps smiling, keeps answering people while something holy inside grows quiet. Life continues on the outside, but the inner flame becomes small. That is why I must speak to you about spiritual stagnation, blindness, and deafness. I do not speak to condemn you. I speak because I love you too much to let numbness become your normal. The most dangerous condition is not always open rebellion. Sometimes it is a life that still looks acceptable, while the soul has stopped longing for me. You can be busy and still be asleep. You can know many words of faith and still avoid the voice that calls you deeper. My beloved child, stagnation does not usually arrive with a loud warning. It settles like dust on a table. At first it seems harmless. One skipped prayer, one ignored conviction, one compromise explained away, one day of saying I will return later. Then another day follows, then another. Soon the heart becomes used to distance, and what once troubled you no longer moves you. This is how spiritual life becomes shallow. You still believe in me, but you no longer seek me with hunger. You still hear truth, but it no longer interrupts your habits. You still know what is right, but knowing no longer becomes action. You still desire peace, but you continue feeding the thoughts, choices, and attachments that keep peace far from you. My beloved child, I am not asking you to live in fear of every weakness. I know you are human. I know you get tired. I know there are seasons when prayer feels dry and faith feels quiet. Dryness is not the same as death. Weariness is not the same as rejection. But when you stop caring that your heart is dry, when distance from me no longer grieves you, that is when you must wake up. Spiritual blindness is not the inability to see information. It is the inability to recognize what I am doing. A person can read, listen, learn, and still miss the movement of my hand. The Pharisees saw my son with their eyes, heard his words with their ears, watched mercy heal people before them, and still could not recognize the visitation of God because pride had covered their sight. My beloved child, blindness can look like certainty. It can sound like I already know. It can hide behind strong opinions, religious language, and the need to be right. It can make you judge what I am trying to heal. It can make you dismiss what I am using to reach you. It can make you resist the very correction that would set you free. That is why humility is so precious. Humility keeps your eyes clear. Humility allows you to say, Father, show me what I am missing. Humility allows you to receive truth without turning it into shame. Humility allows you to be corrected without feeling destroyed. I do not reveal your blindness to embarrass you. I reveal it to restore your sight. Spiritual deafness is different, yet it grows from the same soil. It is not that I am silent. It is that the heart has practiced ignoring me so often that my voice no longer feels urgent. You hear a gentle warning and move on. You sense conviction and distract yourself. You feel a call to return, but you bury it under tasks, entertainment, excuses, and tomorrow. My beloved child, this is dangerous because you may still feel busy enough to believe you are alive. You may still accomplish things, earn approval, maintain routines, and appear strong. But the soul was not created to live on activity alone. The soul lives by communion. Without communion, achievement becomes thin. Without communion, comfort becomes dull. Without communion, even success can leave the heart thirsty. Scripture speaks of people who have eyes but do not see, and ears but do not hear. This is not only about ancient hearts, it is a mirror for every generation. It is possible to be surrounded by signs of my mercy and still miss them. It is possible to receive daily breath and forget gratitude. It is possible to hear my invitation again and again until familiarity makes it seem small. I do not want my voice to become background sound in your life. I do not want holy conviction to pass over you like wind through a closed window. I do not want you to keep surviving while your spirit becomes less responsive to life. My beloved child, I am calling you back before the numbness settles deeper. Come back to sensitivity. Let your heart feel again. Let tears come if they need to come. Let conviction do its cleansing work. Let gratitude return over simple mercies. Let Scripture become living bread again, not a familiar page you pass quickly. Let prayer become an honest room where you meet me, not a task you complete to quiet guilt. You may ask, how do I return from stagnation? Start small, but start honestly. Do not perform for me. Be still before me. Tell me where you have become numb. Tell me where you stopped listening. Tell me where you no longer see clearly. Ask me to soften what became hard and awaken what became sleepy. I hear that prayer quickly because it comes from truth. My beloved child, I am able to restore what has grown dull. I can open eyes again. I can unstop ears again. I can breathe life into places that feel dry. I can turn routine into worship silence, into meeting conviction, into freedom, and ordinary days into holy ground again. But I will not force you to desire me. Love invites, love calls. Love waits at the door and knocks. Do not keep me outside the rooms where you have grown comfortable without me. Open the door. Let me enter the quiet places, the dusty places, the hidden places, the places you avoid because you fear what I might ask you to release. I am not coming to strip life from you. I am coming to give life back to you. Wake up, my beloved child, not with panic, but with holy attention. Wake up from dullness. Wake up from drifting. Wake up from hearing without responding. Wake up from seeing only the surface of your days. There is more life available than the life you have settled for. There is more light than the dimness you have accepted. This awakening may begin quietly, but do not underestimate it. A candle in a dark room changes the whole room. A softened heart changes the whole direction of a life, and I know how to guard what I awaken again within. And when your eyes begin to open again, when your ears become tender again, when your spirit begins to respond again, you will understand something important. I did not call you merely to avoid numbness. I called you to rise. I called you to overcome. I called you to live as one who stands awake, whole, and alive in me. My beloved child, I did not call you merely to avoid numbness. I called you to rise. I called you to overcome. I called you to live awake, whole, and alive in me. You were never created to spend your life only managing pain, keeping your head above water, and calling that survival enough. I know you have learned how to endure. You learned how to keep going when no one noticed your weariness. You learned how to answer, I am fine, while something inside you needed rest. You learned how to carry responsibilities, how to smile through disappointment, how to move through days that felt heavier than they looked. My beloved child, I honor the strength it took for you to survive. I saw the nights when you did not know how you would face morning. I saw the seasons when you had to be strong because there seemed to be no other option. I saw the tears you dried before anyone could ask what was wrong. But listen to me. Survival was never meant to become your permanent home. Survival can carry you through a storm, but it cannot become the place where you build your identity. I did not breathe life into you so you could only brace yourself for the next difficulty. I called you into a life where your spirit does more than endure. It stands, it grows, it conquers through trust. There is a difference between being kept alive and truly living. Many people keep breathing while their hopes remain buried. Many people keep working while their souls remain tired. Many people keep appearing strong while fear quietly decides what they will never attempt. I do not want that for you, my beloved child. I want you to rise above the low-ceiling fear placed over your life. I want you to stop shrinking to fit the expectations of pain. I want you to stop making agreements with old wounds. They told you that you would always be this way. They told you that peace would always be fragile. They told you that joy would always be temporary. But those wounds do not have the final word over you. My word has the final word. My beloved child, you are not the name shame gave you. You are not the conclusion failure spoke over you. You are not the fear that visits you. You are not the rejection that tried to make you feel unwanted. You are not the mistake that keeps replaying in your mind. You are mine, and because you are mine, you do not have to live bowed beneath every shadow that passes over you. You may feel weak, but weakness in my hands is not the end. It can become the place where my strength is made visible. Scripture reminds you that my grace is sufficient, and my strength is made perfect in weakness. This is not a slogan. It is a living truth for the tired heart that still turns toward me. To overcome does not mean you never feel afraid. It means fear no longer owns the steering wheel of your life. To overcome does not mean you never fall. It means you rise again. To overcome does not mean every enemy disappears. It means you learn to stand in my presence with a peace that cannot be purchased by easy circumstances. My beloved child, I am teaching you to stop living as a prisoner of reaction. When someone misunderstands you, you do not have to lose your peace. When a door closes, you do not have to collapse into despair. When your past speaks loudly, you do not have to answer it. When anxiety knocks, you do not have to open the door and let it rearrange the furniture of your heart. You are called to govern your inner life with me, not through pride, not through self-reliance, not by pretending nothing hurts, but by surrendering your fear, your anger, your disappointment, and your uncertainty into my hands again and again, until your soul learns a new way to stand. My beloved child, I know that some chains are not visible. Some chains are thoughts you keep believing. Some chains are memories you keep obeying. Some chains are patterns you inherited without choosing them. Some chains are words spoken over you when you were too young, too wounded, or too tired to resist them. But I am able to break chains that no hand can see. I did not call you to decorate your prison. I called you to walk out of it. I did not call you to make peace with what keeps you small. I called you to freedom. Not the loud freedom of doing whatever the flesh desires, but the holy freedom of a heart no longer ruled by fear, bitterness, shame, or the need to prove its worth. Look at Gideon. He was hiding when I called him mighty. He saw himself through limitation, but I spoke to the purpose I had placed inside him. My beloved child, I often call you by what I am forming, not merely by what you currently feel. You may feel uncertain, but I see courage being awakened. You may feel tired, but I see endurance being purified. You may feel small, but I see purpose rising. Do not argue with my voice because your feelings disagree. Feelings can be honest, but they are not always accurate. Pain can be real, but it is not always prophetic. Fear can be loud, but it is not always truth. Let me speak louder than the emotions that have tried to define your future. My beloved child, overcoming begins inside. It begins when you refuse to let bitterness write your decisions. It begins when you choose prayer instead of panic. It begins when you forgive not because the wound was small, but because your heart is too precious to remain chained to it. It begins when you take one step of obedience while fear still whispers from behind. Do not wait until you feel completely strong. Strength often comes while you move with me. Do not wait until the old voices become silent. Sometimes they grow quiet, only after you stop obeying them. Do not wait until every path feels safe. I am your safety. I am your shepherd. I lead you through valleys, not because valleys are comfortable, but because my presence can make even the valley a pathway. My beloved child, you are not called to live beneath what I have already given you authority to confront. You are not called to remain in cycles that my grace is ready to break. You are not called to keep surviving on crumbs of peace when I am inviting you to the table of communion. Lift your head, not in arrogance but in belonging. You belong to me. That is where overcoming begins. And before you can walk in the life I am calling you into, you must return to the truth of who you are in me. Because a person who does not know their identity will keep accepting chains that no longer have the right to remain. My beloved child, a person who does not know their identity will keep accepting chains that no longer have the right to remain. That is why I am calling you back to the truth of who you are in me today. Not the version of you shaped by fear, not the version shaped by disappointment, not the version shaped by what people failed to give you, the one I knew before the wounds began speaking. You have carried many names that did not come from me. Some were spoken by people who did not understand your heart. Some were formed through failure. Some came from rejection, from comparison, from seasons where you felt unseen. You began to call yourself too late, too broken, too weak, too difficult, too far gone. My beloved child, those names were never mine. I do not call you by your lowest moment. I do not introduce you by the chapter where you fell. I do not define you by the place where people misunderstood you. I know the whole story. I know what happened before the mistake. I know what fear was pressing on your heart. I know what pain trained you to expect. And still, when I look at you, I see, my child, you are loved before you perform. You are chosen before you prove. You are held before you understand. You are mine before any human voice approves of you. Let that truth settle. Do not rush past it. The world has taught you to earn a place, earn attention, earn worth, earn rest. But in my presence, identity begins with belonging. My beloved child, when you forget who you are, you start living from hunger. You chase approval because you do not feel secure. You over-explain yourself because you fear being rejected. You accept less than peace because part of you believes you do not deserve more. You keep trying to become enough, not realizing that my love has already spoken over you. This does not mean I ignore growth. I love you too much to leave you unchanged. But growth is not the same as striving for worth. Healing is not the same as proving you deserve love. Obedience is not a payment you make, so I will finally accept you. You obey because you belong. You grow because you are loved. You heal because my life is working within you. Remember the prodigal son. Before he could finish rehearsing his speech, the father ran to him. Before he could prove himself useful again, the robe was placed on him. Before he could work his way back into the house, the father restored him as son. My beloved child, that is the heart I want you to understand. Return is not met with rejection. Return is met with mercy. You may still feel unworthy. I know. Shame has a way of repeating old evidence. It reminds you of what you did, what you lost, what you failed to protect, what you should have known. But shame is a poor narrator. It tells the story without my mercy. It remembers the wound, but forgets the cross. It points to your weakness, but refuses to mention my grace. My beloved child, your true identity is not fragile. It is not built on moods, numbers, compliments, success, appearance, or the opinions of people. Those things rise and fall. They change with time. They can be given and taken away. But what I speak over you is deeper. You are created in my image. You are bought with love. You are called by name. You are not abandoned. When you know this, you begin to stand differently. You stop begging for seats at tables where your soul is shrinking. You stop confusing rejection with proof that you have no value. You stop letting every criticism become a sentence over your life. You stop handing your peace to people who were never meant to carry it. My beloved child, I want you to live from the inside out, not from applause, not from fear, not from old labels, not from the pressure to appear strong. I want your life to flow from the quiet certainty that you belong to me. From that place you can be corrected without collapsing. You can be misunderstood without losing yourself. You can wait without feeling forgotten. You can walk away from what damages your spirit without needing anger to give you courage. I know there are places inside you that struggle to believe this. There are wounds that taught you to protect yourself. There are disappointments that made you expect abandonment. There are memories that made your heart ask, am I really loved? I am not angry at those questions. Bring them to me. Let me answer them with presence, not just words. My beloved child, I have seen you trying to build identity from pieces that were never strong enough to hold you. Achievement can feel good, but it cannot father you. Relationships can bless you, but they cannot become your source. Possessions can comfort for a moment, but they cannot heal the soul. Even serving others can become heavy when you use it to prove you matter. Come back to the foundation. You are my beloved child, not because every choice was perfect, not because you never drifted, not because you always trusted quickly. You are my beloved child because my love began before your awareness and remains beyond your weakness. I formed you with intention. I placed breath in you with purpose. I have not changed my mind. Let this identity wash over the agreements. The agreement that you must be useful to be wanted. The agreement that you must be flawless to be accepted. The agreement that you must stay silent to be safe. The agreement that you must carry everything alone. I break those lies with truth. You are loved. You are seen. You are invited. You are not alone. My beloved child, when your identity returns to me, your decisions begin to change. You no longer choose from panic. You no longer cling to what poisons you because you fear emptiness. You no longer confuse familiar pain with safety. You begin to ask different questions. Does this lead me closer to life? Does this honor the person I am in God? Does this carry peace or only temporary comfort? This is how freedom begins to take shape. Not only by removing chains, but by remembering you were never created for them. Not only by changing behavior, but by receiving truth at the root. I am not placing a costume on you. I am uncovering what I planted within you before fear covered it. So stand in this truth, my beloved child. Let it become more than a comforting thought. Let it become the ground beneath your feet. You are not what shame called you. You are not what loss left behind. You are not what fear predicted. You are mine. And because you are mine, you can stop hiding behind control, strength, busyness, and pretending. The next healing begins when you become honest with me about the masks you have been wearing. My beloved child, the next healing begins when you become honest with me about the masks you have been wearing. You have called them strength. You have called them responsibility. You have called them maturity. But beneath some of them, there is a tired heart trying to stay safe. I see the way you try to control what you cannot fully hold. You plan every outcome in your mind before it happens. You rehearse conversations before they arrive. You imagine what could go wrong, and then you try to protect yourself from every possible wound. My beloved child, I understand why you do this. Control often begins as a survival tool before it becomes a prison. There were seasons when uncertainty hurt you. People changed. Promises failed. Doors closed without warning. So you learned to grip tightly. You learned to prepare for disappointment before it arrived. You learned to stay alert, to expect loss, to keep your heart guarded. You thought if you could predict enough, manage enough, and hold enough together, you would finally feel safe. But listen to me gently. Control is not the same as peace. Control keeps your hands full but your soul empty. Control makes you feel responsible for things that were never yours to carry. Control gives you the illusion of safety while quietly stealing your rest. My beloved child, I did not create you to live with your spirit clenched. You also learned how to pretend. You learned how to smile while your thoughts were heavy. You learned how to say you were fine because explaining the truth felt too exhausting. You learned how to help others while secretly needing help yourself. You learned how to keep moving so no one would notice the places inside you that had grown weary. I do not judge you for this. I know you were trying to survive. I know there were moments when being honest felt dangerous. I know there were people who did not know what to do with your pain. I know you sometimes hid because the last time you opened your heart, someone handled it carelessly. My beloved child, I am not careless with your heart. You do not have to perform strength before me. You do not have to clean your tears before you come. You do not have to arrange your words perfectly. I am not impressed by a polished mask while your soul is bleeding beneath it. I want the real you because only the real you can be healed. Remember Adam in the garden. After fear entered, he hid among the trees. He covered himself and stepped away from my presence. Yet I still called to him. I did not ask where he was because I lacked knowledge. I asked so he could come out of hiding. My beloved child, I am asking you the same question in love. Where are you hiding? Are you hiding behind busyness? Always doing, always answering, always carrying so you do not have to sit with the ache inside. Are you hiding behind silence? Saying nothing because truth might require change. Are you hiding behind humor, competence, service, achievement, or a calm face that tells everyone you are steady while your heart whispers that you are tired? I see every hiding place, and I am not coming to drag you out with anger. I am coming to lead you out with love. Pretending may protect your image, but it cannot restore your soul. It may keep people from asking questions, but it cannot bring you into freedom. It may help you look strong for a season, but it cannot hold you when the hidden weight becomes too heavy. My beloved child, what is hidden from others is still known by me, and what is known by me can be healed. You have sometimes feared that if you stopped pretending, everything would fall apart. But what if the pretending is what has been keeping you tired? What if honesty is not the beginning of collapse, but the beginning of rest? What if the truth you are afraid to admit is the very door through which my mercy wants to enter? My son said that the truth will set you free. Not the version of truth shaped to impress people, not the truth spoken halfway to protect pride. The truth, the honest place, the trembling confession, the simple prayer that says, Father, I am tired. I am afraid. I do not know how to let go. I need you here. That kind of honesty does not push me away. It welcomes me in. When you stop performing, grace can touch what performance has covered. When you stop controlling, my peace can enter the places your grip has kept closed. When you stop pretending, my light can reach the rooms that have been dark for too long. My beloved child, I want to teach you a new way to live. Not careless, not passive, not irresponsible, a surrendered way. A way where you do what is yours to do and release what belongs in my hands. A way where you plan with wisdom, but do not worship your plan. A way where you love people but do not make their reactions your foundation. A way where you work faithfully but do not use work to avoid your soul. You are allowed to be honest with me. You are allowed to be weak in my presence. You are allowed to say that you are disappointed, confused, lonely, uncertain, or worn down. I already know. I am not waiting for you to become acceptable before I draw near. I draw near so that my love can make you whole. Bring me the control. Bring me the fear beneath it. Bring me the pretending. Bring me the exhaustion behind the smile. Bring me the places where you have been acting healed while still hurting. I will not shame you there. I will meet you there. I know the mask feels familiar, but familiar is not always safe. Sometimes familiar is only the shape fear has worn for a long time. Let me remove it slowly without rushing you, but without leaving you trapped again today. My beloved child, healing begins where pretending ends. Peace begins where control bows. Freedom begins where you stop defending the mask and let me touch the face beneath it. Do not be afraid of being known by me. To be known by me is not to be exposed for rejection. It is to be seen for restoration. So take one honest breath with me now. Let your shoulders lower. Let your heart stop running. You do not have to carry the whole future in your hands. You do not have to prove your strength. You do not have to hide from the one who already loves you. But now that I have called you into honesty, I must also show you why honesty cannot remain only a feeling. If you see what must be released and still keep delaying, the heart becomes tired in another way. Healing opens the door, my beloved child, but obedience is the step that carries you through it. Healing opens the door, my beloved child, but obedience is the step that carries you through it. I have shown you the places where the mask must come down. I have touched the places where control has made you tired. Now I must speak to you about the cost of waiting after you already know what I am asking. Delayed obedience does not always look dangerous at first. It can look calm. It can sound thoughtful. It can dress itself in careful words. I am praying about it. I am thinking through it. I am waiting for the right time. My beloved child, there is wisdom in patience, but there is danger when patience becomes a covering for fear. You know the difference deeper than anyone else does. There are times when I ask you to wait and waiting brings peace. There are other times when I ask you to move and delay brings heaviness. Learn to discern the fruit. My instruction may challenge you, but it will not leave your soul tangled in excuses. Fear creates circles. Obedience creates movement. I am not asking you to run ahead of me. I am asking you to stop remaining behind when I have already called you forward. There are steps I have placed before you that are not complicated. They are simply costly to your comfort. Forgive, release, speak truth, close the door, return to prayer, stop feeding what weakens you. Choose the clean path, begin again. My beloved child, every delay teaches the heart something. When you delay what I have made clear, your heart begins to believe that my voice can wait behind convenience. It begins to think conviction is only a feeling, not an invitation. It begins to treat grace like an endless waiting room. Slowly, the sharpness of my call becomes softer, not because I changed, but because you practiced not responding. This is why I speak with tenderness and urgency. I am not threatening you. I am protecting the sensitivity of your spirit. A heart that responds quickly stays tender. A heart that delays again and again grows dull. It may still believe the right things, but it loses the habit of surrender. It hears but hesitates. It knows but negotiates. It agrees but does not move. Think of Jonah. I gave him a direction, but he chose another route. He did not stop believing in me. He simply ran from the assignment that challenged him. My beloved child, many people do this quietly. They believe but avoid. They pray but resist. They know the next step but board a ship headed the other way because obedience touches something they do not want to surrender. I pursued Jonah with mercy, but his delay brought unnecessary storms. Not because my love ended, but because disobedience has weight. Choices carry direction. A wrong turn may not cancel my purpose, but it can make the journey heavier than it needed to be. I do not want you to learn every lesson through exhaustion when you could learn through listening. My beloved child, I have seen the detours that delay has created in your life. Some were small, and yet they cost peace. Some relationships remained too long because you feared loneliness more than obedience. Some habits stayed because you called them comfort, even while they drained your spirit. Some conversations were avoided because truth felt uncomfortable. Some callings were postponed because you wanted confidence before surrender. I understand the fear beneath your delay. You wonder if obedience will ask more than you can give. You wonder if releasing something will leave you empty. You wonder if saying yes to me will make you lose control. But my beloved child, obedience may cost comfort, yet disobedience costs peace. Obedience may stretch you, yet delay drains you. Obedience may feel uncertain, yet disobedience keeps you trapped in the familiar. Do not confuse familiar with safe. Some familiar places are only prisons decorated with memories. Some familiar patterns are only chains you have learned to manage. Some familiar relationships are only wounds that repeat themselves with different words. I call you out not because I want to take life from you, but because I want to give life back to you. When I call you to obey, I am calling you into alignment. Alignment is where strength returns. Alignment is where confusion begins to clear. Alignment is where your soul stops arguing with truth. You may still have questions, but you will no longer be divided. A divided heart grows tired because it keeps spending energy resisting what it knows. My beloved child, delayed obedience can make a simple road longer. It can turn a short lesson into a repeated season. It can make the same mountain appear again and again until you finally stop circling and trust my direction. I am not saying this to discourage you. I am saying it to awaken holy honesty. Some weariness is not from the battle itself. Some weariness comes from resisting the step that would lead you through it. Remember the children of Israel in the wilderness. I provided, I guided, I remained faithful. Yet unbelief and delay stretched a journey that could have been shorter. My presence did not leave them, but their resistance shaped the road. My beloved child, I do not want you to confuse my faithfulness with permission to keep wandering. Today I am inviting you to choose the shorter path of obedience, not the easier path, not the path without tears, not the path where you understand everything. The shorter path is the path where you stop negotiating with what I have already made clear. It is the path where you bring me your trembling yes and let me strengthen it as you walk. You do not need a grand gesture. You need one faithful step, one apology, one boundary, one prayer spoken honestly, one decision to stop returning to what keeps breaking your peace, one quiet act of trust when no one sees, one yes that tells your heart we are not delaying anymore. My beloved child, I will meet you in that step. I will not mock your trembling. I will not demand that you feel brave before you begin. I will give strength as you move. I will give light as you follow. I will give peace as you surrender. But do not wait for the full feeling of readiness. Readiness often comes after obedience has begun. The cost of delay is real, but it is not the end of your story. Even now I am still speaking. Even now I am still opening a way. Even now mercy is reaching toward the place where you hesitated. I am not calling you to drown in regret. I am calling you to rise from it. So come back to the step you postponed. Look at it with honesty. Place your fear in my hands. Let your yes be simple, but let it be true. The road ahead does not require perfect strength. It requires a willing heart. And as you return to obedience, my beloved child, you will discover that my mercy has not stopped calling you. My beloved child, as you return to obedience, I want you to know this with certainty. My mercy has not stopped calling you. Your delay did not silence my love. Your hesitation did not erase your name from my heart. The moments you turned away did not make me turn away from you. I saw every time you promised to begin again, then lost courage. I saw every time conviction touched you, then fear pulled you back into the familiar. I saw the prayers you started but could not finish. I saw the tears you wiped quickly because you felt ashamed of needing grace again. My beloved child, I was still near. Even when you could not feel me, I was guarding the small ember of faith you thought had gone out inside your very weary heart. Do not mistake my correction for rejection. When I reveal what must change, I am not pushing you out. I am inviting you closer. A wound must be seen before it can be healed. A wrong turn must be recognized before the path can be corrected. Mercy does not pretend the road is fine when danger is ahead. Mercy tells the truth and then offers a hand. You may think I am tired of calling you. You may think I have counted too many delays, too many excuses, too many seasons of slow obedience. But my beloved child, my patience is not like human patience. People become exhausted. People withdraw when disappointed. People measure love by performance and closeness by convenience. I do not love you that way. I knew your weakness before you knew how to hide it. I knew the places where fear would speak loudly. I knew the patterns you would repeat. I knew the shame you would carry. And still I called you mine. My mercy was not surprised by your struggle. My mercy was prepared for it. That does not mean your choices do not matter. They matter deeply. Mercy is not permission to remain asleep. Mercy is the light left on so you can find the way home. Mercy is the open door after you wandered. Mercy is the voice that says, come back now, not because nothing happened, but because healing is still available. Remember Peter. He said he would stand strong, yet when fear pressed him, he denied my son, not once, but again and again. His failure was public enough to crush him inwardly. He wept bitterly. He knew he had broken his own promise. But my beloved child, that was not the end of his story. After the resurrection, my son did not come to destroy Peter with shame. He restored him with love and called him forward again. Learn from that. I do not restore you so you can sit forever staring at what you did wrong. I restore you so you can rise and feed what I place in your care. I restore you so the place of failure becomes a place of humility, compassion, and strength. I restore you so you no longer trust your own pride, but depend more deeply on my grace. My beloved child, regret can become a heavy room if you remain inside it too long. There is a grief that leads to repentance, and that grief is holy because it turns your face back toward me. But there is another grief that only keeps you circling your failure, repeating the same accusations, refusing the mercy I am giving. Do not confuse the two. If your sorrow leads you to me, let it do its work. If your sorrow keeps you hiding from me, bring it into the light. I am not asking you to punish yourself until you feel worthy of return. You cannot punish yourself into holiness. You cannot shame yourself into freedom. You cannot accuse yourself into peace. Come to me, and let my kindness lead you to repentance. My beloved child, my mercy is strong. It is not soft weakness. It does not ignore truth. It does not call darkness light. It does not bless what destroys you. My mercy enters the place of truth and says, this can be changed. This can be cleansed. This can be restored. This does not have to own you anymore. You have carried some failures, like permanent labels. You have treated certain seasons as proof that you are not capable of becoming new. But I tell you, your past can explain where you have been, but it does not have authority to define where I am leading you. The cross speaks louder than accusation. Grace speaks louder than shame. My word over you speaks louder than the memory that keeps returning. Do not let the enemy use your history to make you afraid of my presence. He will whisper that you have delayed too long. He will remind you of old promises and say you have no right to try again. He will point at your inconsistency and call it identity. But my beloved child, inconsistency is not your name. Failure is not your name. Beloved is your name in my house. Come back without pretending. Come back without speeches. Come back without trying to make your heart look better than it feels. If you feel tired, come tired. If you feel ashamed, come ashamed. If you feel uncertain, come uncertain. I can work with honesty. I can heal what is offered. I can strengthen the small yes that trembles in your chest. Scripture says, my mercies are new every morning. That does not mean yesterday did not matter. It means yesterday does not have the final authority. Morning comes because I am faithful. Breath returns because I am patient. Invitation remains because I have not abandoned what I began in you. My beloved child, receive mercy, but do not waste it. Let mercy move you. Let mercy soften you. Let mercy make you quicker to obey, slower to judge, more willing to forgive, more ready to return. Mercy is not only comfort for the fallen, it is strength for the one rising. I am calling you again, not because I forgot your delay, but because I am greater than it. I am calling you again, not because obedience no longer matters, but because obedience still has a path before it. I am calling you again because purpose still breathes within you. There is still oil for your lamp. There is still ground for your feet. There is still a step waiting for your yes. So do not sit in shame when I am offering a road. Do not stare at the closed chapter when I am placing my hand on the next page. Do not believe the lie that mercy is only for others. It is reaching for you now. My beloved child, stand up in my mercy. Let it wash your hands and steady your heart. Let it give you courage to begin again. And as you begin again, understand why the resistance around you has been so intense. The enemy does not fear a soul buried in shame. He fears a soul awakened by mercy, restored by grace, and ready to obey. My beloved child, the enemy does not fear a soul buried in shame. He fears a soul awakened by mercy, restored by grace, and ready to obey. He does not tremble when you only feel regret. He trembles when regret turns into return, when return becomes obedience, and when obedience begins to change the way you live. This is why the resistance around you has felt so intense. It is not always because you are doing something wrong. Sometimes pressure increases because you are beginning to move in the right direction. The enemy does not waste effort on what carries no threat to darkness. He works hardest to distract what is being awakened. My beloved child, he is not most afraid of your past. He has used your past to accuse you. He has replayed old mistakes. He has tried to make failure sound like your identity. But your past alone is not what troubles him. What troubles him is the moment you stop agreeing with it. What troubles him is when you begin to believe what I say about you more than what shame says about you. He fears your awakening because an awakened heart cannot be easily managed by lies. When you are asleep, fear can lead you without much resistance. Comparison can pull you. Offense can poison you. Distraction can numb you. But when you begin to wake, you start recognizing the voice behind the thought. You start seeing the trap behind the invitation. You start noticing that not every open door carries my peace. My beloved child, this is discernment. And discernment is dangerous to darkness. The enemy wants you reactive. I am making you steady. He wants you exhausted. I am teaching you rest. He wants you offended, hurried, scattered, and suspicious. I am forming in you a quiet strength that does not need to answer every accusation, chase every approval, or fear every delay. He fears the person you become when you stop living from old wounds. He knows that when your pain no longer controls your decisions, the patterns he used for years begin to lose their grip. He can no longer pull you back with the same triggers. He can no longer use the same fears to make you small. He can no longer keep you trapped in the same cycle of panic, regret, and delay. My beloved child, he also fears your obedience. Not the kind of obedience that looks religious on the outside while the heart remains far away. He fears simple, honest obedience. The quiet yes, the clean decision, the boundary made in peace. The prayer spoken when no one sees. The forgiveness that releases poison. The step forward taken while fear is still whispering. One act of obedience may look small to you, but in the spirit, it shifts your position. It moves you out of agreement with fear. It places your feet on the path of my instruction. It opens space for my light to enter places once ruled by confusion. That is why he fights your next step so strongly. Remember when David stood before Goliath. The battle did not begin with a giant falling. It began when David refused to agree with fear. Others saw size. David saw covenant. Others heard threats. David remembered my faithfulness. My beloved child, the enemy fears that kind of remembrance in you. He fears when you look at what intimidates you and still remember who walks with you. He fears your prayer life becoming real again. Not polished, not perfect, real. He fears when you close the door, sit in quiet, and speak honestly to me. He fears when you stop performing and start communing. He fears your return to Scripture, not because pages alone frighten him, but because my word becomes a sword when it enters a surrendered heart. When truth begins to renew your mind, lies lose their hiding places. When you begin to answer fear with my promises, old voices lose authority. When you meditate on what is pure, true, and life-giving, your inner world changes. My beloved child, he fears your healing because healed places become places of authority. The wound that once made you react can become the testimony that helps another person stand. The shame that once silenced you can become compassion for someone who believes they are too far gone. The battle that nearly broke you can become wisdom that protects your future. This is why you must not despise the process. The enemy tried to use the process to make you bitter. I am using it to make you whole. He tried to use delay to make you quit. I am using waiting to deepen your roots. He tried to use pain to close your heart. I am using healing to make your heart clean, strong, and tender again. He also fears your peace. Do not underestimate that. Peace is not weakness. Peace is a sign that your soul is no longer ruled by every storm. When you remain peaceful under pressure, darkness loses one of its favorite tools. When you refuse to panic, refuse to retaliate, refuse to collapse into despair, you become difficult to move from the place where I have set you. My beloved child, Scripture says the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Light does not need to argue with darkness. It simply appears, and darkness must retreat. This is what I am doing in you. I am not making you loud for the sake of noise. I am making you luminous with truth, steady with trust, and awake with purpose. Do not be surprised when distraction increases as you draw closer to me. Do not be surprised when old fears try to return as you begin to walk differently. Do not be surprised when the same temptation knocks after you move forward. Resistance does not mean you are abandoned. Often, it means something in you has begun to matter in a new way. But listen carefully. Do not glorify the resistance. Do not focus so much on the enemy that you forget my nearness. Darkness is real, but it is not greater than me. The battle is real, but it is not your identity. You are not called to live obsessed with opposition. You are called to live anchored in my presence. My beloved child, your awakening is not only for you. When I wake you, others will feel the light of your obedience. When I heal you, the atmosphere around you begins to change. When I steady you, people connected to you begin to see another way to live. This is why your yes matters more than you realize. So stand awake, stand humble, stand close to me. Do not fear the pressure. Do not obey the old voice. Do not return to the sleep I am calling you out of. I am with you, and the light I have placed within you is not fragile. As you awaken, my beloved child, patterns will begin to break, not only in your own heart, but in the places, relationships, and generations connected to your obedience in this very season. My beloved child, as you awaken, patterns will begin to break, not only in your heart, but in the relationships and generations connected to your obedience. You may think your private yes is small, but I see the chain it touches. There are ways of living that did not begin with you. There are fears you learned before you had language for them. There are reactions you inherited from rooms where people survived by silence, anger, control, or distance. There are beliefs that moved through your family like an old song repeated until no one questioned the melody. My beloved child, you may have called these things normal. You may have said, this is just how our family is. This is how I cope. This is how people like me live. This is what always happens. But I am opening your eyes so you can see that what is familiar is not always holy, and what has continued for years does not have to continue through you. Some patterns taught you to expect lack. Some taught you to distrust love. Some taught you to hide pain until it hardened into bitterness. Some taught you that anger is strength, that distance is safety, that overworking is value, that worry is responsibility. I am not showing you this to make you blame those before you. I am showing you so healing can begin where repetition has ruled. Many before you carried what they did not know how to surrender. They responded from wounds they could not name. They built walls because no one showed them how to live with open hands. But now, my beloved child, I am giving you light. And when light comes, responsibility comes with it. Not a weight that crushes you, but a holy invitation to choose differently. You do not break patterns by hating your past. You break them by bringing your past into my presence. You do not break patterns by pretending they never shaped you. You break them by letting truth touch the places where they shaped you most. You do not break patterns by willpower alone. You break them by walking with me, decision by decision, surrender by surrender. This is how freedom spreads. One honest prayer can interrupt years of silence. One act of forgiveness can stop bitterness from being handed down. One boundary made in love can teach a household that peace does not require fear. One choice to seek me first can change the atmosphere around you. My beloved child, do not despise quiet beginnings. A river does not need to announce itself loudly to change the land it passes through. Little by little, it carves a new path. In the same way, your obedience may begin quietly. You may refuse to respond with anger. You may pause before speaking. You may choose prayer before panic. You may stop repeating the story that kept you small. Remember Abraham. I called him to leave what was familiar and go toward a place he did not yet know. His obedience was not only about his own comfort. Through his yes, a future opened that reached beyond what his eyes could measure. My beloved child, when I call you out of old patterns, it is never only about the moment. It is about what your yes makes possible beyond you. You may be the first in your family to speak truth without cruelty, the first to seek healing instead of hiding, the first to choose peace without pretending, the first to say, "This fear ends with me," the first to teach the next generation that love does not have to be mixed with control, the first to show that faith is not only words but a way of living when pressure comes. I know that feels weighty. I know part of you wonders if you are strong enough, but I am not asking you to carry generations. I am asking you to carry your next step with me. I am the one who breaks chains. I am the one who gives courage. I am the one who restores what was damaged. Your part is to agree with my truth more than with the pattern. When the old reaction rises, pause and turn to me. When the familiar fear speaks, answer it with what I have spoken. When shame tries to push you back into hiding, remember, you are mine. When bitterness invites you to protect yourself through hardness, choose freedom. My beloved child, freedom will not always feel natural at first. The old pattern may feel easier because you have practiced it longer. Peace may feel unfamiliar. Boundaries may feel uncomfortable. Honesty may feel risky. Rest may feel wrong when your body is used to striving. But do not turn back because freedom feels new. Let me teach your soul how to live unchained. There will be moments when people do not understand your change. Some may prefer the old version of you because your old patterns made them comfortable. Your silence may have allowed certain things to continue. Your fear may have made you easy to control. Your overgiving may have kept others from facing responsibility. When you begin to change, resistance may come. Do not let that resistance convince you that healing is wrong. Walk gently, but keep walking. Speak with love, but do not return to bondage. Honor people, but do not worship their approval. Forgive, but do not call repeated harm peace. Serve, but do not lose your soul in the service. My beloved child, I am teaching you a holy balance, soft heart, clear eyes, steady feet. Scripture says that if anyone is in Christ, new creation has come, and the old has passed away. This is not only a beautiful verse, it is a declaration over your life. The old way does not have to remain the only way. The old fear does not have to train your future. The old wound does not have to choose your relationships. The old cycle does not have to write the next chapter. I am making something new in you, and through you I can make room for something new around you. Your home can breathe differently. Your words can carry life where words once carried fear. Your decisions can become markers for those who come after you. Your healing can become shelter. Your obedience can become a doorway. My beloved child, do not measure the power of your awakening by how dramatic it looks today. A heart softens, a tongue becomes slower to wound, a hand opens, a prayer returns, a cycle is interrupted, a child watches, a family feels a different spirit. Keep choosing me. Keep refusing the pattern. Keep letting light enter the places where darkness felt inherited. I am with you in this holy breaking. I am not only freeing you from what held you, I am forming you into someone through whom others can see a way out. And because I love you, I will sometimes call to you with a strong voice when danger draws near. Not to frighten you, my beloved child, but to protect what is being born in you and through you. My beloved child, because I love you, I will sometimes call to you with a strong voice when danger draws near. Not to frighten you, but to protect what is being born in you and through you. Do not mistake the firmness of my voice for anger. A father who sees his child drifting toward harm does not speak casually. Love becomes clear when the moment is serious. There are seasons when I comfort you with softness. I draw near like quiet rain on dry ground. I speak peace into your tired heart. I remind you that you are held, but there are also moments when love must interrupt. Love must stop you before you take another step toward what will wound you. Love must awaken you before familiar paths pull you back. My beloved child, when I raise my voice, I am not standing against you. I am standing between you and what seeks to steal your peace. I am not trying to shame you. I am trying to rescue your attention. I am not trying to make you anxious. I am trying to make you aware. You have sometimes heard my warning and thought, why does this feel so strong? Why does this message press so deeply? Why can I not simply move on? It is because your spirit recognizes that this is not an ordinary moment. Something in you knows that I am reaching past your surface thoughts and touching the place where decisions are formed. My beloved child, the danger near you is not always obvious. If it were obvious, you would step away quickly. Many dangers arrive looking reasonable. They come dressed as comfort, opportunity, connection, entertainment, rest, or common sense. A path can look harmless and still lead your heart away from me. A choice can look small and still train your soul to ignore my voice. That is why I speak firmly. I see the end of roads that look simple from where you stand. I see the hidden cost behind the thing that feels convenient. I see how one compromise can invite another. I see how one ignored conviction can become a habit. I see how a heart can slowly drift while still telling itself nothing serious is happening. I am not trying to make you afraid of life. I am teaching you to be watchful. Watchfulness is not fear. Watchfulness is love staying awake. Watchfulness is a heart that says, Father, lead me before I step. Show me what I cannot see. Keep me from calling danger peace because it feels familiar. My beloved child, remember Noah. The warning came before the rain. The instruction came before the flood. Others may have misunderstood. Others may have laughed. Others may have carried on as if nothing could change. But Noah listened before the sky confirmed the word. His obedience looked strange before it looked wise. That is often how my warnings work. I speak before consequences become visible. I guide before the impact arrives. I stir your spirit before the trap closes. I do this because mercy moves ahead of danger. If I waited until everything collapsed, you might call my voice too late. So I speak while there is still room to turn. I speak while your feet can still choose another direction. My beloved child, do not be offended by urgency. Urgency is not always pressure. Sometimes urgency is protection moving quickly. If a house is filling with smoke, love does not whisper. Love calls clearly. Love opens the door. Love reaches for the hand of the one still inside. My strong voice is that kind of love. I know you long for gentle reassurance. I give that too. But comfort without awakening can become dangerous when you are close to a wrong turn. I will not soothe you into sleep while your soul is being pulled away. I will not bless your numbness because numbness feels calm. I will not call compromise peace just to keep you comfortable. My beloved child, you must understand the difference between my conviction and the enemy's accusation. Accusation comes with hopelessness. It says you are finished. It says you are filthy. It says there is no way back. My conviction comes with a path. It says come home. It says turn now. It says this road is hurting you, but my hand is still open. When I speak strongly, listen for the mercy beneath it. Listen for the Father inside the warning. Listen for the invitation hidden in the correction. I do not correct what I have abandoned. I correct what I am still shaping. I do not warn what I have rejected. I warn what I am protecting. You have seen people ignore loving warnings because the tone felt uncomfortable. They focused on how strong the words sounded instead of asking why it was being spoken. Do not make that mistake. If a warning is from me, it will not lead you into despair. It will lead you into truth, surrender, and life. My beloved child, I know the areas where you are close to danger. The conversation that keeps pulling your heart into confusion. The habit that seems small but dulls your spirit. The resentment that feels justified but keeps poisoning your peace. The distraction that looks harmless but steals your hunger for me. The delay that appears cautious but is really fear wearing a calm face. I am calling clearly because I do not want these things to shape your future. I have spoken through unease. I have spoken through repeated conviction. I have spoken through doors that would not open. I have spoken through the loss of peace. I have spoken through scripture that met you at the place of your struggle. My beloved child, do not wait for a louder sign when I have already been faithful to speak. The voice of love can be tender and it can be firm. It can heal and it can confront. It can hold you and it can stop you. A shepherd comforts the sheep but also uses the rod to protect it from the cliff. Protection may not always feel soft, but it is still love. So let my strong voice steady you, not scare you. Let it awaken you, not shame you. Let it bring you back to the path where your spirit can breathe again. If I am pressing on something in your heart now, do not push it away. Ask me what I am protecting. Ask me what I am revealing. Ask me what step of obedience needs to happen before the drift becomes deeper. My beloved child, I am near. I am not angry in the way fear imagines. I am holy, faithful, and full of mercy. My warning is wrapped in love. My correction is joined to restoration. My urgency is the sound of my care moving ahead of your danger. And when you understand this, you will begin to recognize my pattern throughout every generation. I love, I warn, I show mercy, and I call my people into purpose. This is not new. It is the steady rhythm of my heart from the beginning. My beloved child, this is not new. It is the steady rhythm of my heart from the beginning. I love, I warn, I show mercy, and I call my people into purpose. If you learn to recognize this pattern, you will stop fearing my voice when it becomes firm. You will understand that every warning from me is carried by love, and every call from me is shaped by purpose. From the first garden, I have been reaching for the hearts of my children. When Adam and Eve hid, I did not ignore them. I called. I asked where they were, not because I lacked knowledge, but because I was drawing them out of hiding. Even then, after failure entered, my voice was not empty. Anger. It was grief, truth, mercy, and the beginning of a promise. My beloved child, look closely at how I move. Love comes first. Before correction, there is love. Before warning, there is love. Before purpose, there is love. I do not begin with punishment. I begin with relationship. I reveal who I am. I remind you who you are. I show you that you are not an abandoned soul trying to find meaning alone. Then comes warning. Not because love has ended, but because love sees danger before you do. A parent who loves does not watch silently while a child walks toward harm. A shepherd who loves does not let the sheep wander toward the cliff without calling it back. In the same way, my warnings are not proof that I am against you. They are proof that I am paying attention. My beloved child, after warning comes mercy. Mercy gives space to return. Mercy opens a path where judgment could have closed one. Mercy gives time, clarity, conviction, and another opportunity to respond. But mercy is never meant to be wasted. It is not a soft pillow for delay. It is a bridge back into alignment. And then comes purpose. I do not call you back only so you can feel forgiven and remain unchanged. I call you back so you can walk. I call you back so what I placed inside you can live. I call you back so your healed life becomes light for others. Love restores you. Warning awakens you. Mercy receives you. Purpose sends you. This is the rhythm you must learn. My beloved child, many people become confused because they separate these parts. They want love without correction. They want mercy without transformation. They want purpose without surrender. They want comfort without watchfulness. But my ways are whole. I do not divide my heart. The same love that holds you is the love that corrects you. The same mercy that forgives you is the mercy that teaches you to walk differently. When you understand this, you will not run from conviction. You will not hear my warning and immediately think I am angry in the way people have been angry with you. You will not mistake my urgency for rejection. You will say, Father, if you are speaking this clearly, then you must be protecting something precious. My beloved child, Scripture shows this pattern again and again. I called Israel because I loved them. I warned them through prophets because I saw the roads they were choosing. I showed mercy when they returned. I restored purpose when their hearts turned back to me. They were not always faithful, but I remained faithful to my covenant. My voice did not disappear because they were weak. I kept calling because love perseveres. Do you see now? My repetition is not weakness. My repeated call is not because I forgot what I said before. I repeat because human hearts forget quickly. I repeat because distraction is persistent. I repeat because danger sometimes returns wearing a different face. I repeat because love is patient enough to say again what pride, fear, and weariness tried to ignore. My beloved child, this same rhythm is reaching you now. I have loved you by keeping you. I have warned you by stirring your heart. I have shown mercy by giving you this moment, and I am calling you into purpose by asking for your response. This is not merely a message to make you feel something. It is an invitation to step into the order of my heart. Do not treat this as distant theology. This is your life. when you feel conviction about what weakens your soul, that is warning wrapped in love, when you sense hope after failure, that is mercy lifting your head, when you feel called to live cleaner, deeper, truer, and closer to me, that is purpose beginning to breathe again. My beloved child, I know the world around you celebrates speed, noise, and personal desire. It tells you to follow every feeling, defend every preference, and call every boundary of truth oppression. But my kingdom moves differently. I do not flatter the flesh to gain your attention. I speak truth to rescue your soul. I do not guide you by trends. I guide you by eternal wisdom. There is safety in my pattern. When you receive my love, your heart becomes secure. When you heed my warning, your steps become protected. When you accept my mercy, your shame loses authority. When you walk in purpose, your life gains direction beyond survival. This is how I lead you from confusion into clarity. But you must respond to each part honestly. Do not receive love and reject warning. Do not enjoy mercy and delay purpose. Do not ask for direction and ignore correction. My beloved child, wholeness comes when you allow all of my voice to reach all of your life. I am not speaking to a crowd in a distant age. I am speaking to you here, in this season, in the place where your decisions are forming. I am calling your heart into the same ancient rhythm that has carried my people through wilderness, exile, restoration, and promise. Love, warning, mercy, purpose, this is the path of life. Let love calm you. Let warning awaken you. Let mercy restore you. Let purpose move you. Do not stand at one part of the rhythm and refuse the next. If I comfort you, receive it. If I correct you, do not harden. If I forgive you, rise. If I send you, walk. My beloved child, the pattern is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to guide you step by step. I do not reveal everything at once. I reveal enough for obedience. I do not ask you to master the whole future. I ask you to listen now. And as you listen, I will show you the same pattern through the lives of those who came before you. Their stories were not written for decoration. They are mirrors, warnings, invitations, and living reminders. Through Lot, Elijah, Saul, and Nineveh, you will see how love warned, mercy waited, obedience opened a way, and delay carried a cost. Look carefully, because what I taught them then, I am still teaching you now with patience, clarity, and a father heart that refuses to let you sleep through purpose in this season. My beloved child, look carefully now, because what I taught them then, I am still teaching you now with patience, clarity, and a father heart that refuses to let you sleep through purpose in this season. The stories in my word are not old stones placed behind glass. They are living mirrors. They show you how love warns, how mercy waits, how obedience opens a road, and how delay can make the journey heavier than it needed to be. Look first at Lot. He lived in a place that had become familiar to him, even though danger was gathering around it. The warning did not come after everything fell apart. It came before. My messengers arrived while there was still time to leave, still time to move, still time to obey. My beloved child, this is how mercy often works. It speaks before the flames appear. It pulls before the collapse becomes visible. It says, leave now, not because I am cruel, but because I see what is coming. Lot had to move while part of him was still attached to the place I was calling him out of. That is often the hardest obedience. You may know something is no longer life-giving, yet familiarity still pulls on you. You may know a door is dangerous, yet memories make it feel safe. But when I call you away, do not measure my instruction by your attachment. Measure it by my faithfulness. I see farther than your feelings. Now look at Elijah. I fed him by the brook for a season, but then the brook dried up. My beloved child, even a place of provision can become a place you must leave when its season is over. Do not worship the place where I once fed you. Follow the voice that leads you forward. I sent Elijah to a widow who seemed to have almost nothing, yet I had hidden provision in the place his reason would never have chosen. And look at the widow. She stood with a little flour, a little oil, and a heart standing near the edge of despair. Human logic said, hold on to what remains. My instruction invited trust. She gave in obedience, and provision began to flow day by day, not all at once. Not in a way that made fear unnecessary forever, but enough for each day. My beloved child, sometimes the miracle you are asking for is released through the step that feels least logical to your natural mind. Do not be afraid when obedience does not match your calculations. I am not against wisdom, but wisdom must bow before my voice. Reason can help you count what is in your hand, but it cannot always see what I have prepared beyond your hand. When I ask you to move, give, forgive, release, wait, or speak, I am not guessing. I am guiding. Now look at Saul. His story is a warning, not so you will despise him, but so you will recognize the danger of partial obedience. Saul heard my instruction, but he adjusted it under pressure. He kept what he wanted, offered explanations, and tried to make incomplete obedience sound acceptable. My beloved child, the heart can become very skilled at explaining what it does not want to surrender. Partial obedience may look close enough to people, but it is not whole before me. Delayed obedience may sound careful, but it can still be disobedience wearing polite clothing. Selective obedience may appear practical, but it reveals where another voice has been given higher authority than mine. Saul feared the opinion of people and slowly lost the place obedience was meant to preserve. Learn from him. Do not protect your image at the cost of your intimacy with me. Do not keep the part I asked you to release and then offer me a religious explanation. I am not seeking a performance that looks impressive. I am seeking a heart that trusts me enough to obey fully. To obey is better than sacrifice, and listening is better than offering what your heart has already withheld. Now look at Nineveh. That city had wandered far into violence, pride, and darkness, yet I still sent a warning through Jonah. My beloved child, if I only wanted destruction, I would not have spoken. The warning itself was mercy. The strong word was not the end of hope. It was the doorway back to life. Nineveh listened. From the greatest to the least, they humbled themselves. They did not argue that the warning sounded too strong. They did not waste the moment defending their habits. They turned. And because they turned, mercy met them. This is important for you. A warning from me is not proof that you are rejected. It is proof that return is still possible. My beloved child, these stories are different, yet they carry one thread. Lot teaches you to leave when I call, even if what you leave feels familiar. Elijah teaches you to follow me when provision changes form. The widow teaches you that trust to Laban's supply where logic sees only lack. Do you see how I have been speaking to you through them? I am not giving you history for information. I am giving you wisdom for the moment before you. There are places you may need to leave. There are dried brooks you may need to stop mourning. There are small things in your hand you may need to trust me with. There are partial yeses that must become whole. There are warnings you must not ignore. Do not say these stories belong only to another time. My heart has not changed. I still warn before danger. I still provide in unexpected places. I still ask for obedience that reaches deeper than appearance. I still show mercy when hearts turn back. I still call my children out of familiar darkness and into living trust. My beloved child, ask me where you are in these mirrors. Are you lingering like Lot? Are you grieving a brook like Elijah? Are you afraid to release the little you have like the widow? Are you adjusting my instruction like Saul? Are you being offered a chance to turn like Nineveh? Do not answer quickly. Let the question reach the hidden place where truth is waiting. I am not showing you these mirrors to overwhelm you. I am showing them to guide you. If you respond, the road can change. If you listen, mercy can meet you. If you obey, what looked closed can begin to open. My word is not only a record of what I did, it is a lamp for what I am doing now. So look with humility. Listen with a soft heart. Move when I call. Release when I lead. Turn when I warn. Trust when I provide in a form you did not expect. These mirrors are not only warnings, my beloved child, they are invitations. And now you must understand how warning and invitation often walk together in my love. My beloved child, these mirrors are not only warnings, they are invitations. And now I want you to understand this clearly. In my love, warning and invitation often walk together. When I warn you, I am also inviting you into life. When I correct you, I am also opening a way toward freedom. When I tell you to turn, I am not only pointing away from danger, I am pointing toward the place where your soul can breathe again. Do not separate what I have joined together. A warning from me is not a closed door. It is often the light above the open one. It says, do not continue there because there is another way prepared for you. It says, do not stay asleep because morning is already touching the edge of your life. It says, do not cling to what is draining you because I am calling you into what will restore you. My beloved child, you have sometimes heard my warning as if it were only a no. but my no always protects a better yes. When I say no to bitterness, I am saying yes to freedom. When I say no to compromise, I am saying yes to purity. When I say no to a connection that keeps confusing your spirit, I am saying yes to peace. When I say no to delay, I am saying yes to movement, growth, and purpose. This is why you must not treat my boundaries as rejection. My boundaries are not walls built to keep you from joy. They are guardrails placed along roads where your heart could easily be harmed. A child may not understand why a parent pulls them back from a busy street, but the hand that pulls is not hateful. It is saving. My beloved child, my hand has pulled you back many times. Some of those moments felt like disappointment. Some felt like unanswered prayer. Some felt like losing what you wanted. But they were invitations to trust me more deeply. I was teaching you that not every desire deserves your yes. Not every opportunity carries life. Not every open path has my peace on it. When warning and invitation move together, your heart must learn to listen without panic. Do not say God is against me. Say God is guiding me. Do not say I have failed beyond repair. Say mercy is still speaking. Do not say this correction means I am unloved. Say my Father loves me enough to tell the truth. My beloved child, the enemy tries to twist my warnings into shame. He wants you to hear correction and hide. He wants you to hear conviction and collapse. He wants you to hear truth and assume there is no way back. But I do not speak like that. My truth may cut through illusion, but it does not cut you away from my heart. My truth opens the wound, so mercy can clean it. Think of a physician who finds what has been hidden beneath the surface. The finding may frighten the patient, but it is not cruelty. It is the beginning of treatment. In the same way, when I reveal what is unhealthy in you, I am not exposing you to abandon you. I am showing you where healing must enter. My beloved child, every warning carries a doorway. If I warn you about pride, the doorway is humility. If I warn you about fear, the doorway is trust. If I warn you about distraction, the doorway is stillness. If I warn you about resentment, the doorway is forgiveness. If I warn you about exhaustion, the doorway is rest in me. Do you see it now? I do not only show you what to leave, I show you where to come. This is the part many miss. They hear the warning, but they do not follow the invitation. They feel convicted, but instead of coming closer, they sink into discouragement. They recognize the wrong road, but they stand still, instead of walking toward the right one. My beloved child, do not stop at awareness. Awareness is a beginning, not a destination. If I show you that something is stealing your peace, ask me what peace looks like. If I show you that a habit is dulling your spirit, ask me what new rhythm will bring life. If I show you that your words are wounding, others ask me to teach you speech that carries grace and truth. If I show you that you have been hiding, ask me to lead you into honest light. I am not a father who points to danger and then leaves you alone. I walk with you out of it. I do not say change and then disappear. I give strength for the change I require. I do not say release while ignoring the ache of letting go. I hold your heart while your hands open. My beloved child, this is why my invitation is personal. I do not call you into a vague idea of better living. I call you into communion with me. Come closer, walk with me, listen to me. Let me reorder your desires. Let me teach you to choose life in small moments. Let me become the place you return to before fear becomes your counselor. Scripture says that I set before my people life and death, blessing and curse, and then I call them to choose life. That is my heart. I do not expose a choice to mock you. I reveal the choice so you can live. I show the contrast so you can see clearly. I call you toward life because I delight in seeing my children whole. So choose life here, not only in a dramatic moment, but in the quiet decisions that shape your day. Choose life in what you watch, what you repeat, what you believe, what you answer, what you release, what you feed, and what you refuse to carry any longer. Small choices become a path. A path becomes a life. My beloved child, I know you may feel tired from being warned, but do not hear only warning. Hear the invitation beneath it. I am inviting you into clearer sight, cleaner hands, deeper peace, steadier faith, softer love, and a heart that no longer needs to run from my voice. I am calling you away from what drains you, because I am calling you toward what restores you. I am calling you away from false peace, because I am calling you toward living peace. I am calling you away from delay because I am calling you toward purpose that cannot be entered while you remain asleep. So let warning become wisdom. Let correction become direction. Let conviction become movement. Let mercy become courage. Let this moment become more than something you heard. Let it become something you answer. And as you answer, my beloved child, the next work will not always be loud. Some of the deepest changes I bring will happen quietly within you. A softer reaction, a cleaner desire, a steadier breath, a prayer rising where panic used to live. That quiet transformation is where I will lead you. My beloved child, that quiet transformation is where I will lead you. Not every work I do in you will announce itself loudly. Some of the deepest changes will begin in places no one else can see. A softer answer, a slower reaction, a thought surrendered before it becomes fear. A moment of stillness where panic once rushed in. Do not despise these small beginnings. When a garden begins to live again, it does not shout. A tiny green shoot breaks through the soil quietly, but life is already moving. In the same way, I am bringing life back into the hidden places of your heart. I am teaching you to breathe differently, choose differently, listen differently, and rest differently. My beloved child, you may expect transformation to feel dramatic every time. You may wait for one overwhelming moment where everything changes at once, but often I restore you day by day. I loosen one fear. I correct one desire. I heal one memory. I soften one place that had become hard. I place one clean thought where torment used to live. This is holy work. Do not measure it by how quickly others notice. Do not measure it by emotions alone. Measure it by fruit. Are you becoming slower to return to what wounded you? Are you becoming more honest with me? Are you becoming less ruled by shame? Are you learning to pause before fear takes control? Are you beginning to desire what brings life instead of what only brings escape? My beloved child, this is my Spirit working within you. Scripture says that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. These are not decorations for a religious life. They are signs that my life is growing in you. Quiet fruit may not impress the world, but it reveals a soul being made whole. There will still be days when you feel weak. Do not panic. Weakness does not cancel transformation. There will still be moments when old thoughts knock on the door. Do not invite them to stay. There will still be seasons when obedience feels hard. Do not turn back because the path requires trust. I am patient with growth, and I am faithful in process. My beloved child, the work I have begun in you is not fragile. It is held by my hand. I will continue what I started. I will guide you, correct you, comfort you, and strengthen you. But keep your heart open. Keep listening. Keep responding. Do not let this message become another moment you felt deeply, but never answered. Now let your heart pray with honesty. Father, I come before you with open hands. I do not want to hide anymore. I do not want to live half awake hearing your voice and delaying my response. I confess the places where fear has led me. I confess the places where I called comfort wisdom, where I called delay patience, where I called control peace. Teach me to recognize your voice again. Teach me to hear you above noise, above shame, above fear, above the opinions of people. Give me a soft heart, a listening spirit, and courage to obey when you speak. Do not let me grow numb to your presence. Wake up the parts of me that have grown tired, dry, and distracted. Father, heal what I have covered. Touch the wounds I tried to ignore. Remove the labels that did not come from you. Break the agreements I made with fear, rejection, lack, and shame. Remind me that I am your beloved child. Remind me that I am not forgotten, not abandoned, not too late, and not beyond your mercy. Give me strength for one concrete step of obedience. Show me what to release. Show me where to return. Show me what door to close, what truth to speak, what habit to leave, what prayer to begin again. I do not ask for the whole road tonight. I ask for enough light to obey the next step with you. Father, make my faith real. Let it stand when feelings change. Let it remain when answers take time. Let it trust when the path is not fully visible. Prepare me as a vessel for what you desire to pour into my life. Make me clean, steady, humble, and ready. Do not let your blessing become a burden in unhealed hands. Protect me from distraction. Protect me from partial obedience. Protect me from the voice of the enemy that twists conviction into shame. Teach me to receive warning as love correction, as guidance and mercy, as strength to rise. Let my life move in your rhythm of love, warning, mercy, and purpose. Father, break the patterns that have kept me bound. Let the old cycles end with me. Where there has been fear, plant trust. Where there has been anger, teach peace. Where there has been silence, bring truth with grace. Where there has been striving, teach rest. Let my awakening become light for those connected to my life. I surrender my timeline. I surrender my excuses. I surrender the need to understand everything before I trust. Lead me from survival into life. Lead me from numbness into holy awareness. Lead me from pretending into truth. Lead me from delay into obedience. I say yes to you again, not with perfect strength, but with an honest heart. Amen. My beloved child, let this prayer become more than words. Let it become a doorway. When this message ends, do not rush back into the same noise without carrying the light you received. Sit for a moment. Breathe. Ask me what one step must happen next. Then take it with me. Keep this close, my beloved child. When doubt returns, remember what I have spoken. When ordinary days feel quiet, remember that I still work beneath the surface. When the old path calls your name, remember that you have been invited into something higher. You do not have to win the whole battle in one breath. Walk faithfully in the next breath, and I will meet you there with grace. My hand is steady, and my love remains near. I am with you in the quiet after this message. I am with you when the screen goes dark. I am with you in the room, in the car, in the night, in the morning, in the choice that waits for you. You are not leaving my presence. You are learning to carry awareness of my presence into the rest of your life. If this message has touched your heart, stay connected with this channel. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and return whenever your soul needs encouragement, clarity, and prayer. Share this message with someone who needs to remember that God is still calling, still healing, still guiding, and still opening a path. My beloved child, go forward in peace. Not the peace of having every answer, but the peace of knowing I am with you. Your life is not accidental. Your waiting is not wasted. Your obedience is not small. Your awakening has begun. Walk with me now, and do not turn back.